Blast Layer 2 is probably going to be dropping the largest airdrop in crypto history. And in this video, we're going to go into what that means for you guys, how you can profit from this. But we're also going to answer the questions, is this safe to participate in? There has been a lot of FUD calling Blast a Ponzi scheme. So guys, in this video, I'm going to go into Blast Layer 2, what it is, how you can participate in the airdrop, make some sweet, sweet profits from it. And I'm also going to go over some of this FUD that's been going around and address that head on. All right, guys, if that sounds good to you, if you're excited for this airdrop, because the Arbitrum Airdrop, people were able to make hundreds of thousands of dollars on it. So we're going to talk about that as well. All right, guys, without further ado, let's get into it. Like the video if you're excited for this, because I'm bringing you guys ways on how to make sick money. And this is setting us up in the very beginning of this bull run to have extra capital in your pockets so that you can maximize those sweet 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 X's leading into the parabolic run of the bull run. So like the video, guys. I'll wait for you. Like the video. Just do me a favor. Let's get this. Let's get this the most liked video ever. And if you're new to the channel, what's up? My name is Kyle Chasse. I've been in crypto for nearly 12 years, bringing you guys all the alpha on this channel as I learn it on a daily basis, so that you guys can maximize profit and take full advantage of this upcoming super cycle we're going into. And if you're not subscribed, guys, why not? Right? Like, what are you waiting for? I seriously put in so much work into these videos, and thank you guys in the comments for letting me know how much you appreciate it. I appreciate those comments more than you could ever imagine. All right, let's get into this, guys. So the question that a lot of people are asking here is this a Ponzi, right? And so you have this nice little meme here. This is the referral mechanism you can see here. You invite your friends, they invite their friends, and you make percentages off of what they do. And so this guy goes, this little Pepe goes, so Blast is a pyramid scheme. And this guy goes, nah, brah. nah. And there's another tweet that I found too that someone said, the genius intern who turned the pyramid into a square should get a bonus. And then he goes, Pepe goes like, does this help? And he turns it sideways, draws a triangle around it. And he goes, my brother, this is a triangle. La pyramids are 3D. So just some funny. So anyway, so let's go into what is Blast, guys. Right? So Blast is a L2 that's redefining the way that assets are held and controlled when you have them bridged to this layer 2. So now the thing is today, if you use any ecosystem natively, layer 1s, layer 2s, what does it matter, right? You have your ETH on there, you have your stable coin on there, and they're sitting in your wallet and they're earning you no interest, no revenue. They're just sitting there earning nothing, right? And so if you're doing nothing with those assets, you're not investing them, if you're not putting them to work, you're literally losing out on the value, well, especially stable coins due to inflation, right? So what this is proposing is it's gonna automatically take your assets and put them to work for you so they can just sit there in your wallet. And we'll go into that, why I'm doing this, in your wallet, earning you APY so that your 1 ETH can turn into 1.12 ETH and then 1.4, blah, blah, blah. So there's obviously some things that I have concerns about. I'm going to go over those in this video as well with you guys. But, to start things off here, Blast is the L2 that helps you earn. It's the only Ethereum L2 with native yield for ETH and stable coins. And it shows you here like this thing about how users' balances increase over time from Blast rewards. This is mostly referring to this airdrop that's coming up here. And where you see it says other L2s just remain actually negative, right? They're saying that you're losing money because of inflation. Whereas if you just hold them on Blast Layer 2, and this is like very clever. I definitely applaud these guys for thinking about something like this. It's very innovative. But when I first read this, I was like, oh, before I started seeing the crypto Twitter go absolutely ballistic on this, I was like, this is very clever. There are some concerns I have about this, but overall, extremely clever. So, so it says here that, basically just you put your ETH, you bridge it over to the L2 to Blast. You can keep it there for participating in dApps that are being built there, or, DeFi that we built there, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. So, so the way it works essentially is if you have ETH on Blast, or if you've got stable coins on Blast, they take that ETH and they take those stable coins and they deposit them in MakerDAO, and they put it in MakerDAO's treasury bill system, and those stable coins will earn you 5%. And if you have ETH, it'll put it in something like Lido, which I also have concerns about. And guys, if you're listening, Pacman Blur, if you're listening to me, please DM me. I DM'd you on X. Like, let's not further concentrate the staking on Ethereum. Right now, Lido already has too much control over the Ethereum network. Please, let's use some other staking pools other than Lido. I have a solution for you. Please do DM me. Much better. Like this is my also a huge concern I have. Like don't use Lido. Like it's way too hyper concentrated. Anyway, so let's get back to this. What is it? Why a new L2? It's just talking about earning you 4% on your ETH deposits and 5% on your stablecoin deposits. And this was created by Pacman Blur, the guy who created Blur Protocol, which is also one of the most innovative and interesting NFT marketplaces that actually crushed OpenSea. And you can see that, just good, interesting things. So our team of members come from FANG, Yale, MIT, Nanyang Technology University, Seoul National University, and we have worked with some of the largest protocols in DeFi, Web3, primarily Ethereum, but also other chains like Solana as well. Blast contributors have raised $20 million from Paradigm, Standard Crypto, and then these other guys too, right? Like KOLs and big, influential people within the space as well. And then, so let's get into what's going on here. So I want to point your attention here to the Arbitrum Airdrop. The Arbitrum Airdrop, I think, was the largest crypto airdrop in history. The current value of that airdrop is $1.3 billion. Now, I know guys who were farming the ARB airdrop and made hundreds of thousands of dollars. And in fact, we have somebody on our team who's just literally airdrop farming right now all day long. His full-time job is to go airdrop farm. Now, it seems limited at first on how you can airdrop farm on Blast, but I'll show you. All you guys have to do is connect multiple wallets with multiple Twitter accounts. So I'm sure people are doing this, right? And then you have to go get friends to sign up, deposit, bridge ETH. But this is like a crazy flywheel that's getting more and more TVL. And we'll talk about the TVL that's on Blast in just a minute. So essentially, it's what I've already told you guys. So why another L2? It's just another L2. It's fast. It's cheap. It's an L2. It's using optimistic rollups like Arbitrum and OP Stack. It's not using ZK Snarks, which is like what ZK Sync is using, which I think is a superior technology. But nonetheless, most people don't care about it actually. So they mentioned what's called this risk-free reward, right? And risk-free reward is essentially the percentage gain you can get from putting your assets in what's called a risk-free type of instrument. So U.S. bonds and treasury bills have always been considered risk-free because it's like the least risky thing that you can do with your assets to earn some money, because the U.S. government has always paid people back. So Blast is claiming that this is a risk-free reward if you put your assets on the Blast L2, which isn't live yet, by the way, guys. But this is where I want to, I'll just address this now. I was going to save it later for when we start addressing the FUD and the concerns people have about this. But essentially, you're putting, so if you're using Blast and it is really great what they're doing, right? But the one concern, one of the concerns that I have is let's say that you want to use some cool dApp that's being built on Blast, and so that you bridge your assets over to Blast to use it over there, and let's say that you put $10,000 on that or whatever, right? And so whether you want to or not, Blast is going to take your assets that you bridged over there that are in your wallet, and they're going to go deposit those either on MakerDAO or Lido. Now, Lido and MakerDAO have been around for a while, and they have been secure thus far. But what happens if Blast gets billions of dollars bridged over to the layer 2, and those billions of dollars are in Lido or in MakerDAO? And what happens if one of these protocols is exploited and a hacker steals all the funds? Like, you're not getting that money back. You thought, like, even if you weren't using the Blast layer 2 for the yield generation, let's say, like I said, you just wanted to use it because like there was some cool DeFi stuff being built over there. Well, your funds are gone, right? Like I don't see how they recover that in this case. And so it is concerning, right? But I guess, and I'm just making an assumption here, but I'm guessing that, that Pacman Blur and the guys from Paradigm who invested in them thought that at this point, Maker has been around for long enough and Lido's been around long enough to where if they haven't been hacked so far, they're probably not going to be hacked. And that's a big assumption to make, but it is an assumption which they're going through here right now, right? So, so they're saying that Ethereum now has a version of RFR. That's when you natively stake. So RFR is the risk-free reward. And so they're saying that right now, if you stake on Ethereum natively, you get your 4% via staking and pay back to you in ETH. And that staking has sucked up $20 billion of liquidity. And they're saying here again, like we said, every other layer, infrastructure layer before Blast gave you 0 on your assets that were sitting there. So it is very, very creative and clever. Like like if this thing works, and assuming that there's never a major exploit on Lido or MakerDAO, then great. Then it's very, very innovative, and this is going to it's because of what it's done, and because of how humans act, our inherent risk for appetite by getting small APYs, and this is another thing for me too, is that like people are going to use this because it's going to be nice that your Ethereum and your stablecoins grow in value just holding them on Blast. That is actually a really clever thing and very, very nice. But it's not without risk. And those APYs are not, for me, if you're very traditional and you run $1 billion hedge fund or whatever, you're fine getting 4 to 5% a year. Like, that's good for you. We're in crypto, guys. And so for me, like, I will never put my assets in something that is generating me, 4, 5, 10% yield. That's why I didn't lose any money in Luna, because to me, why would I put my stable coins in something, even for Luna, even 20% did entice me, because I know that holding it in Bitcoin, for example, is going to generate more yield in the long run than holding it in stables for any short period of time, right? Bitcoin historically has gone up over 200% a year, year over year on average, which that's 20 times what you would have gotten in the scam protocol Luna. And it's way more than what you would get in Blast and stuff. So that's just my 2 cents. But I know that this is going to attract a lot of people. This airdrop is going to attract a lot of people. In fact, I will show you guys now exactly how much TVL is already locked up in Blast, which isn't technically in Blast. It's just like in a multi-sig wallet, right? And we'll get into that in a minute. Here's a timeline for you guys to understand. Early access is now. You bridge to earn yield plus Blast points. The mainnet goes live February 24th. dApps to go live and withdrawals enabled. So right now, if you deposit or you quote unquote bridge over your assets to Blast, which you're not actually bridging to anything because Blast doesn't exist yet, but they're calling it a bridge to Blast. Right now it's one way. You cannot get them back until February 24th. So here's another thing I want to bring up, guys. Is it worth it to, like, let's say that you're in Solana and you think Solana between now, because remember, we're going to have more than likely, there's a 90% chance or more that we're going to get the ETF approved by January 10th. So altcoins are going to fly and probably outperform if you're in Solana, AVAX, whatever, like it's probably going to increase much more than just Ethereum will. So like, in this example, let's say that you have a limited amount of assets and you're trying to think about, wow, should I sell my Solana right now to buy ETH or stablecoin to go put that and lock it in Blast? I will not be doing that, right? And I certainly wouldn't put $1 of stablecoin in there, because if you think that earning 5% in your stablecoin plus the airdrop resulting from that is going to outperform the crypto assets that pump like hell once this ETF is approved, you're mistaken, right? So I highly would suggest definitely not putting any stablecoin in there, because you can put your stablecoin to work by putting it in volatile crypto assets, which are likely to increase exponentially between here and February 24th. So that's my 2 cents on that. So that's my 2 cents on that. Like, definitely not. But here's where it might make sense. If you have ETH already, if you're bullish ETH and you're just holding ETH in your wallet, this could make a lot of sense, because it's going to be a huge airdrop, right? So if you have ETH already and you're comfortable with your ETH position and it's not earning you any yield, it probably makes sense, because I think that the airdrop reward will probably be significant in this case. And so so that's what I'm doing, right? I'm going to go do that. Like, I also have to sit here and decide between my intelligent leverage position, which essentially, and I will make another video for you guys on this because there's a lot of people asking about this, but essentially what I do is I take my ETH and I put my ETH in Aave. Now let's say that I put $100 worth of ETH on Aave. I can borrow $50 and pay a relatively low interest rate on that, between 3 to 7% interest on that a year, which is not bad. And so if I put $100 with ETH, I borrow $50 in stablecoin, I go buy $50 more of ETH, and then I redeposit as collateral in Aave. Now I've got $150 with the ETH, and it costs me only 7% interest on $50. So I have an extra $50 with ETH. Now I've increased my ETH position by 50%, and it costs me nearly nothing. And if the ETH pumps 2x to $200, for example, so now I've increased. Anyways, it's a little bit complicated. It doesn't matter. But these are the decisions that I'm thinking about. So guys, I'm making this video to tell you what I'm doing with my money, my assets, right? And these are all the things I'm thinking about when I think, is it worth it to go participate in Blast, and how heavy, if I do, would I be participating? So let's check out the TVL in Blast. So Blast, as of right now, let's just refresh. $336 million so far in what has it been, 36 hours, deposited in this, into the Blast Multisig wallet, essentially. And you have 51 million. And this to me, this is, this is the same kind of greedy mofos who went into, this to me is just insanity, right? Because I don't know why you would do that. I mean, I don't know. This makes no sense to me. You're much better off, in my opinion, right now, putting this $51 million, the interest it earns as 5% is going to be virtually worth nothing in 3 months, whatever this launches, right? And the airdrop value on that's probably not going to be worth it either, in my opinion. If this $51 million was put in Bitcoin alone, it's probably going to 2x, which is 100%. ROI on your investment. So anyway, that's the logic of how I'm thinking here, right? But nonetheless, if you calculate this is like $380, $390 that have been bridged, quote unquote, to, and you guys will find out why I'm saying this in a bit. And then also they're going to give people now Blast airdrop if you're staking Blur. Right. And so this is not the Blur that's being staked right now is not TVL, how some people are calculating TVL, but it is probably will turn into TVL once the Blast L2 goes live. I'm sure they're gonna transfer the Blur token to Blast, and then but this is all the reason that this TVL has got, or this staking has gone up, and that Blur shot up in trading volume, shot up in values because people are buying it right now in the open market, staking it in hopes of this airdrop. And to give you some context, guys, right now, the TVL of Solana is like 800 million or something like that. So very, very quickly becoming a very, very valuable proposition here. Protocol, I'll call it a protocol, but it's quite not a protocol. So Pacman Blur comes out and says, 2 of the biggest opportunities we see for NFTs are reducing transaction costs and institutional grade NFT perpetuals, perps. Hundreds of millions have been spent on gas trading for NFTs, and perp volume is 6x bigger than spot. These opportunities require an L2. Now, very true, or Solana, right? But cheaper gas is what he's getting at here. And so he said why he created it was because at the time of Blur Protocol, at the same time, Blur Protocol has another problem. There's $100 million of money through there's $100 million of TVL in the Blur Protocol not earning yield. That means that Blur users are losing money through depreciation. As I dug deeper, I realized that almost every dApp on chain has the same issue. Now, $100 million in TVL, again, this is not an ETH, and so I do believe that some of this narrative is deceptive a little bit, right? Blur has $100 million in TVL. I don't know what assets it's in. Maybe I'm wrong. I need to go look. But he talks through this whole narrative of why he did it, right? And I think that a lot of this is marketing, guys, but it's freaking clever marketing, right? It's really good. It's working, obviously. And essentially what, that's it. I've told you guys what it is so far, right? It's not the best technology, but it's the most innovative, when it comes down to capital efficiency and putting money on chain, right? So also this is also great for the Blur ecosystem. So this is very smart what they have done over here. So they have Blur, which is successful trading platform for NFTs. And then you also have, now the L2 that's going to be put on. This guy just doubled his net worth overnight, or maybe even tripled it. Very, very, very smart move to do this and combine them together. They will act in a symbiotic and synergistic way. So let's go keep going. So also, as you can see, that Blur Season 3, which is how people earn additional airdrops on Blur, is they trade NFTs in Blur, and then they get the Blur airdrops. And so it says that, you know, the Blur Season 3 trading season will happen on Blast Layer 2. And you can see that the price action has been pretty crazy here. You can see that in the last 24 hours or last 7 days, Blur is up 84%. Last 24 hours, up 25%. And again, that's because people are buying it. But there's also had the announcement that Blur will be listed on Binance Spot as well. And you can also see that the Koreans are loving this. So you can see Koreans on Upbit, one of the biggest Korean exchanges, that you've got crazy. The biggest tokens being traded by volume is Blur number 1, Gas number 2, Say number 3, and look at Bitcoin is way down here at number 8. So Koreans are going crazy for this high trading volume. That's why Binance is going to list it. Now let's get into some of the issues that have been going on so far. Of course, when anything has this much attention, it's going to get issues, people complaining, calling FUD, blah, blah, blah. So fraudsters impersonating Paradigm partner Matt Huang to promote Blast Phishing Links, which has resulted so far in $130,000 worth of financial losses. The imposter's message under the official tweet has not been yet processed, according to Bitrace team. So just be very, very, very careful. So you can see here that so you can see how his name is spelled Huang, and this is someone just created a Twitter account with missing the N. So, and this is phishing steps. So be careful, guys out there. Always be careful. This is, if you haven't learned yet, this space can be ruthless. It can tear you up and spit you out if you aren't careful. You have to be careful with links that you click on. Be careful with Twitter accounts. Verify, make sure they're official. Like just be very cautious out there. Assume that everybody is out to get you, and protect yourself. This is the best thing I can say right now, guys. Like, there's phishing attacks like crazy. So this is the actual Matt Huang. Matt Huang says, grateful to all the crazy people willing to work on crypto and freedom tech, despite strong societal taboo to the contrary. And here's some criticism he got. Do you think some of that social taboo would be eased if, let's say, we weren't encouraging people to send money to a one-way bridge controlled by a multisig with no time lock? Will influencers participate in an MLM for promising of substantial yield? So, and you can see this guy's 435 likes, 28 retweets, and a lot of other people are retweeting and rephrasing this exact same thing. So let's get into some of this. So let's say that this one-way bridge controlled by a multisig with no time lock. So there isn't even a bridge. A bridge in crypto refers to when you're actually taking value from, let's say, Ethereum to Arbitrum, for example, and you need to bridge the assets over there because they're different foundations, right? They don't just interact natively. So right now, because Blast doesn't exist, it's not actually a bridge. You're literally just so people are clear out there, you're literally sending when you bridge through the interface of Blast, you're actually just sending your ETH and stablecoins to a multi-sig wallet. That's all that's happening, to be clear. That's all that's happening, to be clear. And it is an MLM, but it's freaking effective, and it's different because people they're not selling scam products like these juices and stuff that people get into MLMs for. So oh my God, MLM. Thank you. Has a bad rap, right? Because people sell crap and like they get their friends to be involved, and then all of a sudden you get involved. I don't know if you guys have ever been in MLM, but I have, and like everyone just stops answering your phone calls or you're replying to your text because they don't want you to bother them with trying to get them into the MLM, right? But this is, everyone's like loving this one. Everyone's like happily participating in this. This is not like people are not getting bothered. They're asking people for invite codes, right? Like, so this thing is very viral. It's much different. So according to DBank, less than 3 days after its launch, Blast, a deposit-only contract launched by the founder of Blur and Paradigm. So far, this is old news already, right? This is from yesterday. We now know there's like way, 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 way more money in there. And this is my big criticism. Don't stop depositing in Lido, guys. Like, it's horrible for Ethereum safety. It's horrible. Like it's making Ethereum so centralized. Like, literally, I believe Lido has enough staked ETH right now to attack the network, which is obscene. Like, horrible. Guys, if I get like one piece of criticism is like, why Lido? You know, you're smart people. You know that it's like, I don't know, maybe it's because it's the most trusted one, but like, geez, Louise. So another piece of criticism. So the founder of Slow Miss said that the Blast has an upgradable contract with owner 3 out of 5 multi-sign and no time lock. If they want to rug pull, need other multi-sign to upgrade the malicious logic contract or enable transaction, blah, 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 technical stuff, right? It doesn't matter. These guys aren't going to rug pull, right? So I think this is like, yeah, they could rug pull, blah, 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 blah. But guys, they're not going to. This is like the founder of Blur, and Paradigm is a very, 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 very well-known Silicon Valley VC. There's no way these guys are rug pulling. It's not going to happen. So I just think this is like ridiculous to even talk about. But I guess it is worth noting, right? Like, so this is the same thing. This is Jared Watts. He's a developer at Polygon. But again, I think it's a moot point. I think there's plenty of credibility within this project. I'm personally not worried about that at all. The fact Blast Multisig has more TVL than the entire on-chain ecosystem of Bitcoin or base L2, and more than 50% TVL of the entire Solana ecosystem tells a lot of things, but not a lot of pretty things. Again, I just think people are coming out hating here. Like, it's successful. They have a great marketing idea. Like, people are always going to hate. They did well. I good job, Pacman, Blur. Good job, Blast. Good job, guys. Again, this what you see on my screen was again more criticism saying, yeah, good job, guys. You're putting like $500 million in a bridge. You're not. There's no bridge here. There's no bridge. Like, they called it a bridge because eventually that money that you put in their ETH layer 1 multisig wallets, eventually when Blast launches, it will then be put on. But for now, you don't have the bridge exploit risk because there's no freaking bridge. Get that? Got it? Got it. Good. Okay. So whenever you guys, now you guys can be experts. Whenever someone says, oh, the bridge isn't, no. Now you guys watching this can go tell your friends and tell them how smart you are that there's no bridge here. So Wasi Lawyer is a lawyer, obviously. This is probably the most frustrating thing about Blast. Have spent hours explaining to clients why they can't run on-chain hedge funds with a non-LPs or dangle token incentives, while a paradigm-backed MLM straight up market securities to the public, including the United States. So I'm not a lawyer, but apparently this guy is, and apparently they're doing some stuff that this is another risk here, is that literally we've seen it before with Telegram and stuff like that, where they're selling securities or marketing securities, and then the SEC comes and makes everyone give their money back. That would be horrible for this, but your money, again, isn't at risk with this kind of scenario. It's just stating that they're doing a lot of things that the US regulators are not going to like. My default position now has to be fine. This is technically illegal, but we can do it until regulators come after Blast. So yeah, there you go. Now, this guy, so what he's talking about, I'm not going to, because I already covered it, right? So what he says is, here's the thing about relying on protocols in the L1 to literally define the value of your L2 assets. Bridging ETH itself is fine, except for the bridges. But this, again, it's not a bridge. It's not a bridge. It's not a bridge for it now. Okay, it's not a bridge. What happens to Blast assets is, this is what I've been saying. So if Lido or Maker go down, this literally will wreck this entire protocol and everybody involved in it. That's something to take into consideration, guys. Is this the greatest marketing stunt of all crypto history? Is this the greatest protocol of all crypto history? Is it, there's a lot of questions here. And so how big could this airdrop be? So assuming a realistic valuation of $1 billion, guys, I think the FDV in this thing is going to be way over $1 billion. The TVL will probably beat $1 billion. And this airdrop is probably going to be worth, much, much more than that. The Arbitrum airdrop was $1.2 billion. This thing, if it launches at a $5 or $10 billion FDV, which I think it can be close to it. That's why I think it's, going to be close. This thing, in my opinion, will probably be worth, between 500 million to 1 billion. Plus, the time this happens is literally right after the ETF announcement, probably. So, markets will be in full-on bull market, and that's why it could send this thing to Valhalla, and it could even be bigger potentially, and that's why I think it's worth paying attention to. So again, in my opinion, the best way to play this thing is if you have ETH sitting around, go do it. Sign up, use an invite code, bring your friends, deposit some ETH that you already have sitting that you're willing to not, do anything with for the next 3 months, and take your airdrop. Like, that's, to me, what I'm doing, right? I'm not going freaking crazy in here. I'm not going to deposit, a bunch of ETH, but I will deposit some ETH. And yeah, and again, I just have to now go and sit on this for a little while and think about how much do I want to, because right now most of my ETH is in Aave, and I'm doing this intelligent leverage that I talk about. So I have to make a decision here on like how I want to do it, right? And it's probably not gonna net me. There's probably more people participating in this than there was the Arbitrum Airdrop, dividing that value over everybody, but it could be worth a lot. So now, again, the way to properly do this, if you want to farm it on a large scale, you're going to have to create multiple Twitter accounts, multiple Discord accounts, multiple wallets, and do that. But people will do that for sure. So I'm not going to go through how you guys do this. Like, basically, it's very self-explanatory. If you get an invite code, you click the link and you walk through the steps. Like that's it, right? You go there. You join early, connect your Twitter, connect your Discord, connect your wallets. There you go. You get to see if you already have airdrop points in there because of the look on chain for things that you've done, probably using other L2s and things like that. So it'll tell you if you got points right off the bat. I happen to have points right off the bat. And then I invited more friends. I got to spin this lottery wheel. I spun the wheel, blah, blah, blah. This is like, so every week you get to spin the wheel once. So the sooner you get involved, like if you get involved today, then you can spin the wheel. Next week you get spin it again, and you get more points and more points and more points and more points. So let's continue on here. Yeah, and there's that and that. So let's wrap this up. So is it safe? Is it a Ponzi? Is it worth it? Again, I've covered this multiple times here. I think that it's worth it if you've got ETH sitting around. I think it's going to be a massive airdrop. I think these guys did a brilliant job. I think largely most of the FUD and concerns are invalidated by what I've talked about. And I think it's brilliant. I think a lot of other people are going to copy this and follow this. I love seeing genius things like this. So bravo to the team. Bravo to the guys. It is innovative. The biggest concerns, again, are the underlying ways that the yield is earned on Lido and Maker. If you think those things will be successful and not hacked in the future, then there's nothing to worry about. If you're concerned about that and you think the APY isn't worth it, then I wouldn't participate, right? That's the way I'm going to lay it out, guys. And that's going to be the end of the video today. I'll catch you in the next one tomorrow. See you later. Bye-bye.